All right, folks, we are back with a breakdown of the Dave Canales presser as we head off to Germany, or at least the Carolina Panthers head off to Germany. Maybe you are heading there. Maybe you're already in Germany because you're a resident and, hey, you listen to the show, which is fantastic. But here we are. Biggest news coming out of the presser today was the confirmation that Jonathan Brooks is activated. Well, that was officially by the team later in the day. But the Bryce Young is going to be the starter at least for this week. But we'll start off recapping. Dave Canales talked about his excitement for the Germany game. It's a big week for the team, again, as they battle the New York Football Giants, both of us 2-7. He's pumped about it, not just for the game, he said, but for a chance to bond with the team. Talked about the trip is a great team building moment, especially with everyone packed into the same hotel, experiencing a new place together. And there's some cool pieces just having the global exposure in the NFL and just taking it all in. Even talked about the international jerseys, the Baker Mayfields, the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, all those guys, even Cam Newton. He said it's a reminder of how big football really is. And now, let's talk about Bryce Young. So again, Bryce Young is officially starting this week. He talked a lot about what Bryce has shown, that he's shown progress, especially in his ability to finish plays and keep his composure when it matters. But he is keeping it real. Canales isn't locking Bryce in as the long-term starter just yet. Wants to see how this week is going to go. He'll evaluate it after the bye. And you're giving himself a chance to weigh his options carefully. He's even went on record saying he liked what he saw out of Andy Dalton. So it's just going to be this never-ending battle. At least, again, he's just pressing the buttons of Bryce Young. Maybe this pressure holding him to the fire is exactly what we need. Like we said, the challenge of switching between quarterbacks week to week, how it's going to affect team consistency, which this team has not been consistent either way. But you want a leader in there all season. So it's valuable. I really hope Bryce should have the edge. He should be starting the rest of the way here. Talking about injury updates, he mentioned that they are still monitoring DJ Wonnum. So no guarantees, again, that he's going to play, and Jonathan Brooks. But it's crunch time. We know traveling, that's going to limit some of the time. You just got to get adjusted to the time itself. Even Dan Morgan joked that he's going to stay awake probably the whole time on the fight. And then when they get in there, he may fall asleep during the game in the press box. And speaking of wide receivers, again, you throw Adam Thielen in the mix, waiting to find out if he's going to be healthy. It's going to be a light crew. Talk about the trades now with Mingo gone. You're going to be relying on Devin Tompkins, as well as Jordan Matthews. That's right, the tight end / wide receiver, possibly looking at getting him involved in the line in the passing game. Offensive line shuffling, still TBD on the status of Ike Ekwonu, if Ike Ekwonu is going to be available. Otherwise, we could see the same patchwork with Brady Christensen at left tackle, Cade Mays at center. Everyone else, knock on wood, relatively healthy. And when you evaluate the film from last week, another big thing that we noticed was the defense making stops. It was a lot of that bend, don't break. On the defensive side of the ball, the focus has been on third downs and red zone stops, and they came through. There is no doubt they came through in the last game, and Canales was proud of how they held up in key moments, though they still gave up more rushing yards than he wanted. He called it progress. It's a step in the right direction, and for a Panthers team that has been terrible, that's all you can ask for. Now, we did have this moment where it felt like Canales was going to break. He's starting to show himself a little bit more. I think the last presser, at one point last week, he just said, hey, I've never seen anything like this. But he reflected on being a head coach. It's been a whirlwind. He said he's totally gassed, but at the same time, loving the challenge, from personnel calls to just, everything that comes across your desk. It is very different from being a position coach, from being an offensive coordinator. You're dealing with the total logistics. Think about all these trades that have happened. Managing the locker room. Making a decision to bench Bryce Young. These are just things that he hasn't had to deal with. So again, from personnel, game planning, juggling, and learning on the fly, you could tell he's drained. I feel like he's probably going to have almost all gray hair at the end of this. And last focus for this team is team over individual wins. Post-game recognition, he hasn't been handing out game balls, which is interesting. And I know a lot of folks have called out the fact that he didn't call out Bryce Young, didn't call out Xavier Leggett. He says it's less about individual accolades and more about building a style of football they can all be proud of. It's about the team win and improving as a unit, not just giving props to one or two guys. But if you say that as a statement, then you can't call other people out throughout the game, like in the post game, which he did. So it is what it is for him, I guess. So anyways, folks, that is going to do it for today's episode. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.